Welcome to Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 8. And this is for the after party, y'all. This is the after party. And on the after party, there was Kirsten, ADom, and Clint. And let me tell you, y'all, ADom came on the after party flipping the entire script on us. The entire script. Y'all need to watch my video on ADom. I'm going to leave the link or whatever above my head at the end of this video. You guys can watch it. But Dom came on here trying to pull a Gina. Remember when Gina tried to make us believe that Clint threw the first shot and it was Clint who talked about her looks first. And so she was all offended by it. And then she couldn't take the punch that Clint threw back at her because she was really the one who threw the first punch. This is the same thing going on with Dom now. Dom is sitting up here in the after party acting as if it was Mack who first started expressing a disappointment and disagreement and upsetness about being in the marriage or her being chosen as his wife. Dom sat up here and tried to tell us, well, if a person doesn't really want to be in the marriage and doesn't really want to be here, what am I supposed to do? Girl, you started it. You've been complaining since the honeymoon, and it wasn't Mack that was doing the complaining. You were doing the complaining. And now that he's fed up with her complaining, she's now telling us, well, what else am I supposed to do? And she's all offended and sad over here or with a bad attitude. I talk about Dom in my video. I call her an old woman. And now I see why they called her old soul, because she is old. She's grumpy. She's impatient. She's jaded, and she's stuck in her ways. And those are all stereotypes of a lot of old people. And let me tell you, that is Dom. She sat on this after party with a nasty attitude as well. Anytime they want to talk about a scene of her, she was like, girl, what you think is about to go on here? Why are you coming here with this bad attitude to the after party? She not only had a stank attitude in her marriage, she had a stank attitude on this after party. I didn't like it. I didn't like it a one bit. Keisha asked her, what are you guys all feeling at this point in time? And Dom talking about, I'm trying to stay optimistic. Girl, you're not trying to stay optimistic. You about as pessimistic as they come. You ain't looking for no good in no one and no good in any situation. You guys really need to watch my video on ADom and Mac, because I start talking about the lies that Mac is telling. He really should just tell the truth about how he really just came to Tennessee for this show. But I don't want to go into it again here on this after party video. But please check out my video on that. Every time Keisha or anybody else tries to pin Dom down and try to tell her about herself, she throws it right back on Mac and says, oh, it's because of him. He did it first. Oh, no, he didn't do it first. All this criticizing the apartment, just like the apartment scene. She gets all mad because he didn't want to come to her apartment and wasn't enthusiastic about her apartment, I should say, because she had a stank attitude when he went to hers. But she blames it and throws it on him. I'm telling you, she's pulling a Gina. She's pointing the finger this way, saying he did it first. And she threw the first punch, and she can't handle the get back. Even Kirsten, the empty box Kirsten, is over here trying to tell her, I think you're trying to analyze stuff too much and you're not giving him a chance. It is something how we can see other people's stuff when we can't see our own. But Kirsten was right. Kirsten was right. You are being too critical. You're not giving him a chance. You're not giving him a chance to explain all these lies he's been telling you. Because like I tell you guys, he has been lying this whole season. He's been lying. He really just need to come clean with Dom and tell her, I moved here for this show. That's why I live in this apartment. That's why my dogs aren't with me. That's why my stuff is in storage. All of it. Just tell the truth, Mac. Just tell the truth. But like I said, Dom is still with a bad attitude and trying to pretend like it was Mac who came here with the bad attitude, and that's not correct. It's her who came. It's she who came with the bad attitude. It's she. Dom is over here talking about he don't have no assets. His stuff is in boxes. He could just leave at any given time. Like I told you last week, that's what she's really afraid of. This is why she's got all this digging in kind of stuff, because she is sniffing out and she's afraid of, is he really here to be here? And instead of attacking it head on, asking the questions, having the deep conversations, she nitpicks at him. She nags him. She's like a grumpy old woman who's jaded, stuck in her ways, not open to any kind of thinking. And this is what is also making things worse. And she's rude. At one point in time, she starts telling the story saying, well, the parts you guys didn't see about what Mack was doing was before Pastor Cal got there, he went on this 5-7 minute rant talking about how did they match us together? This is not what I wanted in a wife. You know, he was going on and on and on. Got it, Dom. But I don't understand how that's different than what you was talking about all during the honeymoon. She acts like it's new conversation. This is the conversation she's been having all honeymoon, and it was on camera. We saw it with our own eyes. She like Gina. She act like we don't see what we see. We don't hear what we hear. She complained the whole honeymoon. And now she's saying, well, Mack was complaining before Pastor Cal, but then when Pastor Cal got there, he didn't want to say none of it to his face, and he stuck his tail between his legs. Ugh, that's the way you talk to people, talking about, bro, can I talk? He stuck his tail between his legs. I'm telling you, Dom is a rough. She is a balls buster. And somehow or another, she thinks she's better than Mack, as if she handles these situations way better than him. And it's not true. She really doesn't. And the way she was approaching a Pastor Cal, I talk about that in my video too. I thought she was out of order with her rudeness. Maybe Mack is a little bit more respectful of people, especially elders, especially a pastor, and he isn't going to come at Pastor Cal talking about, oh, you got some explaining to do. Maybe tucking his tail between his legs isn't some form of cowardness. Maybe it's a form of being respectful. Something that she doesn't have, because she is disrespectful. But like I said in my video, I blame her mama. I blame her mama for this nasty attitude she got. I blame her mama. So this is what Dom starts talking about. He's Jekyll and Hyde, that Mack is Jekyll and Hyde. Why he's Jekyll and Hyde? Because he told you he was upset about them matching you with him. The same stuff you've been saying all week long in Jamaica. But then he doesn't really say it to Pastor Cal's face. That's not Jekyll and Hyde. That's not what that is. That's trying to be respectful. That's trying to still be positive about the situation, even though I see some things I don't like. That's called trying not to be a rude. When she said she was fed up and she was over it, and she was talking about she was going to go home and take a bath, I was like, a bath in what? Some Epsom salt with your old thinking mind. Even Pastor Cal was said, done with what? Done with what? You done with the process, you done with the marriage, and you done with what? Even Pastor Cal had to snap back at her, because what he realized was he's got a immature, nasty, a rude, a woman, little child is sitting in front of him, and he was like, you done with what? What you done with? They showed the clip when Pastor Cal told her, you know what, you look like you poised for battle. You poised for battle. She was ready to buck up. I told you. We saw she couldn't walk in them heels. We saw that it looked like she never wore a dress. I'm telling you, she's rude. She likes to buck up, and she rough. Dom is a rough. She really tried to tell everybody on this after party that she is reacting to all the energy of Mack. I'm telling you, she pulled a Gina. She said she is reacting to all the negative energy of Mack, when we all know it was her who was sitting on those confessionals all Jamaican time complaining about him. And now she's trying to say that the reason why she doesn't want to be in the marriage is because Mack was the one that didn't want to be in the marriage. Just like Gina over here trying to tell us she's an athlete and she thinks we believe this. And now she wants us to believe this story about her and Mack. I don't believe it. I don't believe it one bit. She said, what am I supposed to do? How am I supposed to react with someone who doesn't want to be in the marriage? Well, if he don't want to be in the marriage, he don't want to be with it in now because of your stank attitude, the way he was acting. So he may not want to be in the marriage anymore. That's true. But he didn't start it. You started it, Gina. Gina/Dom. You started it. Keisha asked her at the end, so what are you relying upon now to get you through the rest of the marriage or whatever? She said, I'm relying on God and hope. Girl. She said she relying on her faith and in God. I don't believe that either. This season is full of so many liars, y'all. I can't keep the lies straight. Dom now wants us to believe that she's relying on God and faith, and she just chewed out a pastor. Girl, get out of here. Get out of here. When they started talking about Clint on this episode, Keisha kind of redeemed herself. Last week, I was like, I don't know, Keisha, you going a little bit too hard on Clint. This week, she redeemed herself somewhat. I think Keisha was triggered by that body thing. She was triggered. And maybe it was the pregnancy hormones. But this week she redeemed herself, and she even told Clint, you know what? I'm on your side, Clint, this time. I am on your side, because who can't help but to be on Clint's side? Because Clint is the only one trying to work at this marriage. And Gina ain't trying to work. Gina is too busy over here lying to us and telling us a different lie every episode. In this episode, she lied to us and told us she was an athlete because she takes HIIT classes at the gym. There's two lies. That's probably two lies in one. First of all, she ain't an athlete. And second of all, Gina is not taking HIIT classes every single day at a gym. I'm telling you, she's not. She lying about that too. I'm tired of Gina lying in my face. She must think I'm dumb. I am not dumb, Gina. I am not dumb. I don't believe none of these stories. Just like I didn't believe the natural body story. Just like I didn't believe that you was a beauty mogul. Just like I don't believe that men are intimidated by your success. That's how I don't believe that you're an athlete. Girl, I am not dumb. But you know what? Clint was redeeming himself. You know what? I'm liking Clint more and more and more and more. I'm telling you, Clint is starting to be like I was actually with Mitch last year, that they really started off bad. But I think that there are a type of people where they can maybe learn from this time on Married at First Sight. And what Clint was talking about was, he was like, you know what? He likes to cook. He likes to do things for people. He's adventurous. He likes to do all these types of different things. And he was like, he wants to keep trying. He doesn't want to give up. And I really admired Clint for that. He says he likes to show love through acts of service. And he's trying to actually do all these things, have a fresh start, have a clean start. But Gina, that blow about her body, it was just too much. She can't recover from it. She can't recover from it, because the truth of the matter is, although Gina likes to talk all this tough stuff about herself, give herself all these compliments, on the inside, Gina doesn't feel like any of these things. She uses a lot of material things and outside things to make her feel a certain kind of way about her inside. And when Clint said that thing about her body, I'm telling you, it shook her to her core. It shook her to her core, because that's really the way Gina really, really feels about herself. Even though she says she doesn't feel that way, that is really the way she feels about herself. She can't recover. She can't recover one bit from this. But Clint said he wasn't buying it. He said, if we are brave enough to be married at first sight, we should be brave enough to live in an apartment together to see this thing out. And I agree with him 100%. I agree with Pastor Cal that Gina's over here lying about why she doesn't want to live together, talking about living together will make it worse. No, it won't. No, it won't. Just like Pastor Cal said, this is just one step closer to you getting divorced. Gina has already made up her mind that she's going to say no to Clint already. But Keisha tried to come at Clint a little bit and talking about, I'm surprised you live downtown since you like the water so much. I'm surprised that you don't live on the water or something. He said, no, I got 2 yachts. I got 2 boats that I keep at the yacht club. Let me say the heel. She goes, I got 2 boats I keep at the yacht club. Clint's like, don't get it twisted, Keisha. Don't get it twisted. Yeah, I stay in an apartment, but I have 2 boats down at the yacht club. He says, I'm not the liar. Gina's a liar. I'm not lying about what I like to do and who I am, but Gina is. Gina's a liar. Clint said his stuff is real. He said, I used to have a house on the river in Florida, but when I moved here, I docked my boats at the river, or not the river, at the dock or whatever. I got 2 boats down there. He is real about his stuff, where opposed to Gina making up stuff and wanting us to believe it. Gina's the problem. Gina is the problem. And what does Clint say when he's trying to, when Keisha said, what's keeping you in this? And Clint said, I'm leaning on the trust of the experts. I haven't done such a good job myself before now. But I'm trying to lean on the experts to see this thing out, because we obviously were matched for a reason. And I'm trying to see the reason. And so I'm leaning on their trust. That's what's keeping me in it. I know. Good answer, Clint. Good answer. Even though I know this was a bad match from the beginning, but a good answer. And then Keisha went in on Kirsten a little bit and asked her, how you gonna have 75 pillows with nothing in that apartment? And then Kirsten told some story about, she moved in the apartment in 2021 and she had ordered some furniture, but the supply chain was all backed up and it was going to take 6 to 8 months to get some furniture. So she just canceled the orders. I got it. But then why couldn't you go down somewhere else and just buy some furniture? It don't make no sense, because it's all an excuse. Watch my video on her too when I tell you that apartment and that closet is a metaphor for Kirsten's real life. And that is empty in the living room, empty on the outside, but then you walk into that closet, it's all a chaos. I'm telling you, pretty package on the outside, nice and clean and pristine, but then you walk in the closet and then you see the chaos. That's Kirsten. I'm telling you, that is what she is. Empty apartment, empty conversation. It is her to a T. But Kirsten is talking a lot on the after parties when she comes on. I'm telling you, watch my video on Kirsten and Shaq because I'm changing my vote on them. I'm actually believing that Kirsten and Shaq are going to make it. I think that Kirsten is eventually going to come around because I'm telling you, once Shaq gets out into the world or people get into Kirsten's ear and they start talking about you a fool, girl, to let him go, he's a good catch, she's going to double back on Shaq. And I don't think Shaq is going to give up on her. I think she is his dream girl. I think he's going to keep trying, and I think she's eventually going to come around. I told you guys from the very beginning that all this pickiness with Kirsten is to cover up insecurities on the inside, and she uses her pickiness as a shield, as a guard. Just like that apartment is pristine on the outside and chaotic on the inside, that is Kirsten. It's all a shield. It's almost like the waiting room. Okay, her living room is the waiting room, and her closet is her life. And she has you sit in the waiting room until she's ready to invite you into her closet where all the mess is. I'm telling you, but I think that Shaq is going to patiently sit in that waiting room for hours on hours on hours, waiting to get into that closet of Kirsten's, because I think she's his dream girl. Absent of this no chemistry thing, I think everything else about Kirsten is Shaq's dream girl, and he is not going to leave that waiting room that soon. I think he's going to wait on her, and because of that, I think she's going to eventually come around and she's going to end up being with Shaq. This is what I believe. I could be wrong. I'm not going to say it's going to happen during this 8-week process. She very well could say no. She could say no. She could go back to her apartment and live in separate places. But I could see them continuing to date, and I can see her eventually coming around. I really can see it. Because I'm telling you, just like I talk about with Eris, he's got issues with his father being dead. These issues with Kirsten has to do with that daddy, that absentee daddy. I'm telling you, it's got some things to go on. She's too guarded. She's too safe. She's putting people in waiting rooms before they can come and see her closet. And I'm telling you, she needs some time. I think eventually a Kirsten will come around, because I see another part of Kirsten. She has no conversation now. She doesn't want Shaq to go into the closet. She doesn't want Shaq to talk. She doesn't want him to tell jokes. She doesn't want him to be serious, because she wants to hide in that closet of hers. Okay. But eventually she's going to come out. She's going to come out, but I think it's going to take a long time. And in this after party where it's filmed months and months and months later, I actually see her coming out of the closet a little bit, even on these after parties. And that tells me that she might be a bit capable of it, and tells me she might need some time. I don't know. I could see them getting together, y'all. I really could see them getting together. But watch my full video on Kirsten and Shaq, and I go into it a little bit more. But in the end, Keisha Knott also asked Kirsten, like, what's keeping you in it? And she kind of talked about the same thing like Clint did, was believing in what the experts did, finding out the reasons why we were matched, hanging in there. And if you notice about Kirsten, as much as she says she's not attracted to Shaq, she's not doing the Dom. She's not doing the Gina, trying to live in separate places, trying to run away. She's complaining, but she's sticking to him. She's complaining, but she's sticking to him. That's a different type of movement. And then what she says on here, she says, every day, I think we need to give each other a chance and give him a chance to be the leader. And I think what Kirsten is talking about when she talks about being a leader, she's talking about leading in the area of emotions, because Kirsten protects her emotions. So what she's talking about with Shaq and being a leader, she wants Shaq to lead in the area of emotions, which means she wants Shaq to step out there on the area of emotions. Talk about how much he loves her, how much he cares for her, how much this. She needs to hear that, because what she's saying is, I want him to be a leader in that area, because she's scared. Like I said, she's trapped in the closet. What's the R. Kelly song, Trapped in the Closet? Kirsten is trapped in the closet with her emotions, and she is waiting for Shaq to take all the risk out there so she can feel safe to walk on that ledge, because she is trapped in the closet. But that's it, y'all. Please watch my other videos, and I will talk to you later. Okay, bye.